Whoa, 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 whoa. Paul used to work on the phone. He got his ass fired and he's down on his luck. It's so tough. It's so tough. Alright, I don't know what is this premise? John Bon Jovi versus the hate state of New Jersey. Alright, I'm just going to go in like clean. I'm not going to try to look up anything. What is this? What does John Bon Jovi have to do with anything?
The company that legally murdered me by exploiting employment at will laws to fire their homeless employee, one of their very best employees, just because they can, American Musical Supply, is based in Oakland, New Jersey, with warehouse nearby in Mahwah, New Jersey. I have 170 some odd videos talking about that already. But I've seen some things in the news about others in New Jersey that once again start to show a pattern.
It's pattern recognition, guys. Cup your hands, do the thing, and then you'll see it.
Before I talk about them, let me briefly mention the sheriff of Polk County, Florida, Grady Judd. Grady Judd is this guy's name. He's a tough talking.
I mean, we're going to Florida, we're going to New Jersey, like we're all over the shop here.
Little round-headed guy looks with a southern accent, sounds like Buford T. Justice.
Sure.
And he talks about how much he wants to arrest homeless people for existing, basically. I had a whole video lined up to go over Grady Judd.
Sounds based, honestly.
6 months ago, maybe, because Fox News has made him some kind of a national hero, America's sheriff. This guy's rhetoric against the homeless is so archetypical of government-sponsored hatred of the homeless. And if you look at my video that explains what the American homeless Holocaust is, one of the first points in there is that it originates with government. It is propagated to the people by government, deliberately. This Grady Judd, for one example, he talks about how homeless people sleeping outdoors, how, of course, the way he phrases it is quite different. This is the beauty of manipulative rhetoric, and I don't have it in front of me. But he basically says this is a, quote, quality of life issue. In other words, the people who are living in circumstances like mine, where...
No, I don't know if that's necessarily the truth. I think he's like looking at a broader picture here of these camps, these homeless camps, these... Yeah, I remember seeing a video of this homeless encampment. Where was it? Minneapolis. So it's in the area. It was some sort of like explosion at this encampment, and it might have been a propane tank or something like that. Anyway, it engulfed the complete encampment area like rapidly, and people are just like yeeting it out of there. And it wasn't too far from like where you probably are, Paul. So it is like it can be a quality of life issue. There can be like, what was this thing in? Was it San Francisco or was it like LA where it's like, was it typhoid or was it like? I think it was typhoid or like possibly the plague came back. All right, here we go. It was typhus in LA, like so one of these big like encampments that are like completely left in squalor, and it's like the sanitation is like basically zero, and then you have like rat infestations that carry like I guess this disease. Like they have like fleas on them that jump to us. This was eradicated centuries ago. It's like a medieval thing. I guess this Grady Judd or whatever, maybe he's a complete arsehole, maybe he's not. Maybe he's saying that like, hey, we can't allow this to happen on the clean streets of like Florida or like Miami or something like that. We need to make sure that we don't have a situation where it's like LA or San Francisco where these things are coming back. Or he could just be like an inhumane prick who just wants to persecute the homeless.
Perhaps as quick as less than a week from now, I'm going to be going out into the wilderness, having lost everything I had worked to earn honestly and hard for 57 years, starting to work at a...
That's an idea. I might start looking around the like immediate area that Paul's in for like wilderness spots. Like what I think would be scenic, but also kind of urban. So Paul can get there. He can walk over to his like scrub brush area, like an outcrop of trees, and just like set up camp. That's going to be interesting.
11 years old, getting my own job without my parents even knowing about it. Losing all of that and going out in the wilderness to just die. Because of the way the laws are in this country and in the state, and because of the way the government, attorneys, nobody will stand up for the homeless. I have to just die at age 57, which helps to explain why statistically homeless people die about...
I mean, that's a good run. 57, like, I feel like only like, I think like maybe even 100 years ago, like most men would only live to maybe probably crack their 40s. Maybe early 50s would be the utmost limit.
20 years younger than house people who die in their 70s. I'm 57, 20 years less. It's because of places like American Musical Supply that people like me die 20 years younger than you do. Greedy Judd calls this a quality of life issue. And what he is saying,
Well, I think what you have on your side, Paul, is like if I would probably believe that you do not imbibe in any substance abuse whatsoever. So you've got like a really clean bill of health. You're actually dropping weight, which is only a good thing. I could only imagine it would be a good thing. You might have to brave elements, which will put a significant strain on your body. But as you say, you're a virulent, healthy man who like barely has to go to the doctor. Like I think he says he's barely done it. So it could even it out.
almost flat out saying is this is a quality of life issue for real people, real human beings, citizens.
I think the argument he's trying to make, without knowing everything about it, I'd say the argument he's trying to make is I don't want these squalor encampments just like popping up with rats and attracting this kind of disease, like turning up in the middle of Miami or something like that. Or possibly you have just like a whole bunch of people like squalling together, maybe some shady business going down, possibly like rape or sexual assault, murder, Paul, people being set on fire, getting pissed on, that sort of thing. And I don't think this Grady Judd wants that in his town.
People, those homeless people over there sleeping outside, I don't care about the quality of their life because they're subhuman. But people, real people, actual people, they should never have to have their lives destroyed by walking to a coffee shop where they spend $5 on a cup of coffee that costs maybe 15 cents to make, and they have to walk past a homeless person. They might even have to see them.
You might actually walk past Ice Spooge, and if you see Ice Spooge, you just like, you might actually not even not notice he's homeless, because that's one of his big things. Is like, well, am I actually homeless if I'm looking pretty well dressed and well presented? Like, no one actually notices that guy.
They didn't even have to smell them. It's a quality of life issue, folks. It reminds me of when I managed that hotel during the Olympics in Salt Lake City in 2001, too. I get to Salt Lake City, I'm like, wow, what a beautiful town. There's no homeless people here at all. Of course, I later found that they'd taken all the homeless people and basically bust them down to, Las Vegas, which is what initiated.
That's funny because, like, I think there was, like, Xi Jinping came to town in, like, San Francisco or whatever, and they have, like, a just terrible homeless problem there. It's just like, what do they call it? The Tenderloin is just like a nightmare scenario to go by. And basically, I think everyone, like, people are being like at the local mayor and the state governor, and it's like, you've got to get this like cleaned up. You've got to do something. Something has to happen. But it was just around the fact that this Xi Jinping, the glorious leader of China, was basically just making a visit. He was just on a business visit or a state visit, and all of a sudden, like, they moved heaven and earth to get all these like drug users and vagrants and homeless people, just like completely cleaned them out. Like, the people were saying they've never seen this city so clean in years. Like, it's a miracle. It's a goddamn miracle. But no, like, I think they literally just like round them up, bust them off, drop them off, just to allow like Xi Jinping to come in, do the visit, get out, and then they like apparently all just came kind of like wandering back in. Fucking crazy.
This last 20 years of persecution against the homeless in America, because Las Vegas was so upset to get all these homeless people. Then Mayor Goodman, if you can believe it, that's his name, Mayor Goodman, and his wife, the other Mayor Goodman, made it illegal to feed homeless people in public. You can feed a real person in public. If two lovers are out and one of them puts a chocolate truffle in the other's mouth as they're dating, it's perfectly legal. But if someone is dying of starvation and they're homeless and you go up and you give them some bread, you go to jail. All these things are interconnected over time, and nobody pays attention.
I would have to think, like, is there ever really a scenario where homeless people are actually starving, like legitimately starving? Like, I just don't feel like it's a problem. I think the problem is that they're probably deeply malnourished. They're getting food, but it's not good food. It's like something that's just not going to nourish the body. So they will be like gaunt and not looking well. But like, this idea of this is like a complete famine, like the idea that the homeless people on these streets are like just like human skeletons, as Paul says. I just don't think that's the case. I think it's more of it. I think the idea is more is that they're very malnourished, and their habits are destructive to the point that is also putting pressure on the body that they might actually physically look very unwell. But like starving is just it's an annoying thing because it doesn't seem to reflect reality. Like truly starving.
Because Mayor Goodman did that, these, what do I even call them? They call themselves consultants.
You were the homeless consultant. That was your job. And then YouTube like kind of shadow banned his channel, quote unquote shadow banned.
Going around all these cities trying to teach cities how to persecute homeless people, skirt the laws, and treat them like subhumans. Let's get back to New Jersey.
All right.
I did a video not long ago about how American Musical Supply is Hamas. The Hebrew word Hamas means violence.
I made a video about that, and in the editing process, I don't know why, I think like this is definitely some sort of weird, like possible censorship within your editing program. Is it seemed to strip out all of the video timelines to like almost 90% of it for no reason. Like I didn't delete anything, I didn't get rid of anything internally that it would like have a like weird missing file or restore file. I think it was because like it was a lot of talk about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, especially when you use AI. Sometimes the prompts just don't go through. They just won't. They will just censor the prompts and say, we can't use that, or try it again. And I think when I was actually going to process this video, like the editor I used basically said, I'm just going to like make this disappear. So I kind of had to give up on that video, like to restore it back to like all the audio got cut, a whole bunch of the video just disappeared randomly, and I was like, why did this happen? What did I do? Like, did I delete something? No, I didn't, and it was baffling. So yeah, I had that video made, and then I gave up on it, and it was a pretty good video. I liked that video. All right, what was he saying?
Evil, betrayal. Just list out all the evil things in the world. It's an umbrella term for all of those. Hamas in what they call Palestine and Gaza and such is a terrorist organization. It just kills families wholesale. Men, women, children, the elderly, unborn babies, whatever. It just kills everybody. That's all it does. It's a death cult.
Was that ever like proven? Like there was this very sensational claim by the Israeli side. It's like they literally put babies in microwaves and cooked them, and it's like, ooh, that's pretty severe. It seems to be documented, but some of the claims were fucking extreme.
Once again, God's sense of humor by having the word Hamas 3,000 years ago in the Bible, saying that in the end times, the world will be filled with Hamas. And these guys decide to call themselves Hamas. Not in that...
It was like, so it's, I guess the Hebrew translation, it was Hamas evil. But like, the King James Bible, it's not Hamas. So if you read the Hebrew translation, it's in there.
That video, but in a previous video where I touched on the subject, I had a note in the YouTube description, which you might have missed. And it pointed out that in...
I often do skip that description part because it's usually full of junk. But every now and again, like there's like little snippets and like info bombs that are kind of interesting.
In Patterson, New Jersey, the mayor over there, Andre Saya, publicly during Ramadan, the Muslim holiday, he publicly declared that Patterson was the, quote, capital of Palestine. Now, of course, Palestine doesn't exist.
What does one have to do with the other here, Paul? Like you've got a scattershot approach to this, but I'm guessing like it's just New Jersey is just like a sanctum of evil.
If you look at the DNA of the Philistines who lived in Palestine, they were Greek. They came from the island of Crete. These people who call themselves Palestinians today are Arabs. They came from Saudi Arabia, places like that. They have nothing to do with Israel, or ancient or modern. This guy says that Patterson, New Jersey is the capital of Palestine. Who did...
I could interject with this, but it is a can of worms, and I just don't want to waste time on this.
Palestine elected their leadership. Hamas, the terrorist organization that kills everybody, men, women, and children, and the unborn. Everybody. Financed by Iran, which, among other things I've never really mentioned before, gets their money from running drugs. You see how all this starts to tie together if you've been watching this channel. Great religious leaders.
It's like, yeah, we've gone from like a state issue, and then we're like going to this geopolitical web of intrigue. And it all kind of like culminates back into New Jersey.
Mayor Andre Saya. If you look at the Wikipedia article on Mayor, it does mention all of the police shootings of people, such as when the police there in Patterson shot Khalif Cooper in the back. This is New Jersey, and Patterson, New Jersey is 16 miles away from Oakland, where American Musical Supply is based. 16 miles away is exactly the distance from where I am right now to where I worked in Eden Prairie. My commute was 16 miles. How many people in this capital of Palestine, which is synonymous with Hamas, which means evil, death, a death cult, hate?
Or is this where like AMS New Jersey actually is? So it's within this town precinct area? That's the capital of Palestine. Stay with me here.
Stabbing people in the back. Oh, I'm sorry, they shot him in the back here, Khalif Cooper. My commute was 16 miles. Who's to say that some of these people in American Musical Supply who murdered me don't have a 16-mile commute, maybe from Patterson? Because they're exhibiting that.
Are you? I mean, it's a pretty harsh implication there, Paul. It's pretty severe, not great.
That kind of behavior. They also killed Najee Seabrooks.
I mean, why would they just randomly shoot this guy? Like, unless he kind of worked for them or he was an associate that got out of line. Or are you just saying they are just psychopaths who like harden people for sport?
Who was a peace activist, but he had some kind of a mental health breakdown and barricaded himself in a house, and he came out armed with knives, a knife or 3 knives, and the police shot him dead. They didn't shoot him in the foot, so he'd fall down and they could disarm him. They didn't shoot him in the hand so the knife would go flying away.
He came out with 3 knives, and he was here. So this Khalif Cooper, what is this story? I mean, that does sound like a legitimate use of force, depending on what this story is, from what you described. All right, details from sketchy. All agree that it was in a mental health crisis. All right, so that's a problem. A report of an emotionally disturbed man who locked himself in his room in an apartment at 20 Mill Street, fire, and set a small bathroom fire. So that was quickly. So that's already an escalation. That's a thing that's putting more people's lives at risk. So we're already getting an escalation that's possibly going to put more people in harm's way. All right, this is I feel like it's a very biased article there because it's hand waving the fact that he started a fire. It's like it was only a small fire and it was quickly extinguished, so don't worry about that. What was the actual story here? It's going to take me a while to find this because everything has some sort of subscription notice coming up. I just want to like read this story with like basically as it was written by a robot. I don't want to have any bias in it. So he had barricaded himself. That so much is clear, but he also started a fire, which possibly it's an apartment. So there's going to be other people affected by the fact that he's lit this fire and it can go out of control. And he has barricaded himself in his apartment's bathroom. Authorities say that an hour after arriving at the scene, the cops used less lethal force in an attempt to subdue him. So taser has been deployed and possibly not been effective. High-ranking sources. So this is high-ranking sources, whether or not it's legitimately what happened, who knows, that Seabrook was wielding 2 knives. So Paul has recounted that towards the officer for the shooting. Water pipes and started a small fire in the room, according to... So he's damaging property in the apartment building and then started a small fire in his room. Oh, okay, so it says here, after the city fire department doused the blaze, the water from the pipes and hose mixed with spilled alcohol. The combination prevented officers. So are they trying to imply here that it could have been a fire hazard? Okay, all right. But the members of the Patterson claimed that they could have prevented the shooting if police had allowed them to speak with Seabrooks. Okay, that's a possible eventuality. It just seems like he was doing things that could have a bigger impact on other people. Like, so I don't know if you can necessarily wait around until that person shows up that can actually talk him down. It's an intervention group that helps at youth. The police refused to help us. The police refused to help our brother in arms. So he was an anti-gun violence activist, but knives were. We want the truth. That's what I'm asking for. A misrelease of the body camera footage. Yeah, I think that's pretty valid. If it is what it is, and if his actions required this sort of use of force, then release that footage. When was this story? 23. Has there been a follow-up? Can I find any follow-up that isn't behind a paywall? Because I could go either way on this story. It could be a clear misuse of force.
Some other big headlines we're following tonight. A state grand jury has decided not to press criminal charges against officers involved in the fatal 2023 police shooting of Najee Seabrooks. The 31-year-old Patterson man was in the midst of a mental health crisis when he called police to his apartment. An investigation by the Attorney General's office found Seabrooks had locked himself inside his bathroom for hours out of fear someone was trying to kill him. Seabrooks' mother, EMS, and police urged him to come out, but crisis negotiators were asked to step in after Seabrooks started a fire in the bathroom that broke a pipe, then threw objects, injuring 2 officers. After a prolonged standoff, body camera footage eventually shows Seabrooks opening the bathroom door wielding a knife when the officers fired their guns. The shooting prompted major changes to the Patterson Police Department, including...
All right, so the body cam footage does show that he did attack them with knives. So he's lunging out and they've had to deploy. I'm just going to see if I can see this body camera.
I got a pocket in here. I got a hoodie on. You dummy. Yeah, I got 3 knives, 2 guns, and a gun in my hoodie, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? Fully loaded. So what? What's up?
Heck, you're not going to be able to do anything through
it's
that.
not a great thing when you you have a body cam, but you're holstering your gun right over this camera. Tells the officers he has knives and a gun for the next hour. He threatens to hurt them and himself as cops continue to negotiate. I mean, yeah, so he's lost his mind. He's like started a small fire. He's like breaking water pipes and...
What was that? Drop him. Just drop him, dude. Alright? You gotta be in a lot of pain, man. Let's stop. Stop doing that, Naj. Stop.
Alright, so he's got knives and heavy shit to bust you all in the head.
That's enough.
So, alright.
Okay. I got real close, and then I got a gun in my pocket, and I got an extra clip on the thug.
Okay.
That's because I had to get a shootout with one of them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I was from
Is he saying he has a gun? If he's like an anti-gun person? What is going on here? Because I can barely understand what he's saying.
I got a gun in my pocket, and I got an extra clip on the thug.
I heard I've got something to the effect of clip because I'm a thug.
Naj, come on, man. Let's take you to your mom. Alright? I'm gonna talk to you. Alright? I'm sure she don't want to see you like this. Drop it!
Alright, that's enough of that. Yeah, he indicated that he had knives. The video isn't particularly clear what happened. His head was there. He was in that like doorwell there. Anyway, I have spent so much time looking at this, but to my feeling there, that is a justified use of lethal force, and there's like no ifs, ands, or buts, especially if he was lighting fires in his apartment. So your example there, Paul, is just bad. And it's also like you're poorly informed, because they did try to use non-lethal force on him, and then they tried to do it again, but because he's like throwing probably heavy spirits around the place, it's mixed with water, and it could be also a fire hazard, or possibly they would maybe get electrocuted themselves. I don't know, but it seems like you're only giving like 1/10 of the story.
So he'd fall down and they could disarm him. They didn't shoot him in the hand, so the knife would go flying away. They shot him dead, and they got away with it. They got away with murder.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, Paul, because it's like, these movements are in an instant, and you're saying like they had, because there was no provocation, like he wasn't being at the time. So it's like this idea is Paul wants within like fractions of a second these cops to train their gun right on his arm as it's like moving at a blinding pace. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, Paul. It just doesn't happen, especially if he's amped up. If he's amped up, you could shoot him everywhere. He could still keep going. Yeah, this is just whatever.
Murder.
Muy.
Got away with murder. Shooting people in the back. Are you starting to see the pattern here? Are you starting to see it?
It was put to trial. There was body cam footage, and the evidence clearly indicates that, yes, this is a justified shooting. Can there be better systems in place? Like, do you want to put social workers at risk with someone who's like having a paranoid mental break? Are you going to allow that to happen?
170 videos showing what American Musical Supply did to me. This is Patterson, New Jersey, 16 miles away. Easily close enough for a nice commute for people who work at American Musical Supply. Do they commute from Patterson? I have no idea. Because these people, like Hamas, who wear all those masks, never bother to identify themselves. So how would I know where they live?
You've got two. What was the other one he mentioned? Because that one, I feel like Najee Seabrooks was just, that was completely justified. So, like, strike that off the list. Khalif Cooper shooting. Where can I just get like a straight report of this? All right. So, what is like even the lead up? Showing a man running and police ordering him to stop to drop his gun.
Right now, in front of the corner guy.
Where are you, bro?
Feliciano got him in custody.
No, but where is he? Everything's good?
Yeah, I got the weapon right here.
All right, good job.
All right, so there was. All right, there's a gun. There is clearly a gun there.
Yo, shots fired!
Shots fired.
Guys, shots fired, shots fired. On Marion.
Some more units.
All right, so I'm guessing that wasn't Khalif. That was someone else.
Yo!
Right.
120!
All right, there goes someone. Is that Khalif? Maybe. He's running pretty fast. Is he running away from the gunfire?
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop! Drop the gun!
All right, he is shot down. He is down. He's not dead. He's paralyzed.
Get down! Get down! Put your hands behind your back! I got no gun. Put your hands. I don't got no gun.
All right, he has no gun. So who shot? Who was shooting? I need more information. Cop shooting case had prior gun convictions. If the man shot in the back by Patterson police. Last he had previously pleaded guilty. Stemmed from police traffic from a police traffic stop in which Cooper allegedly tried to run away in the second case. Faced criminal charge because the shooting, while authorities said Cooper had been unable to walk because of the bullet wound, but Black Lives Matter leader Zelly Thomas should not be a factor. Come on, that's ridiculous. This is America, Tom said. You're still innocent. You're still innocent. You're proven guilty. Okay, true. Questioned the transfer of the prosecution. The information was not made known to the public by the Office of the Attorney General. Well, why? Yeah, it's definitely informing the case. It's not to say the man had a gun at the time. As I said, the judge disagreed. Just because he had convictions, give the officer the right to be his judge, jury, and executioner. Well, there were two shots. Two shots rang out very close by. This man was being pursued by his partner, I want to say. Someone was trying to find this guy, and he came screaming past. Court records show that Cooper was candidate. In June, after passing place, they found him carrying a defaced handgun during a top, and which also accused of pushing an officer and trying to run away from police when the gun was spotted. In that case, Cooper pleaded guilty to unlawful possession. In the second case, accused of firing a gun during a fight with an employee at a 99-cent store in Patterson. Not good. That's not good. Court's record said the bullet Cooper fired almost hit the employee and up striking the business front door. For a second time, Cooper pleaded guilty unlawful possession. he was given 171 days. This is like fucking attempted murder here in 2016 gun incident, and 154 days in the 1999 States. But Cooper, who was 24 at the time, was given something called an aggregate sentence, meaning he was allowing to serve the penalties at the same time. So as he's doing the court proceedings, he's also racking up these days, I guess. Not any conviction since 2018, and the Attorney General's office did not charge him with any crimes in the 2022 incident, in which he was shot by Moravec. So the AG this month announced he had been charged with aggravated assault and official misconduct for shooting Cooper, who is now 29. Platkin said the cop should not have used deadly force by firing his gun at a fleeing suspect. Now, like, that's questionable, is like whether or not they knew. Did he have a gun? Did he not? Did he drop it? Did they not? Like, this seems to be up for question. He did, like, he literally did. He was like, dude, stop running. Get on the ground. Like, I feel like I literally just heard that. Had said Planet has said Cooper's on it at the time or fired his weapon. So I'm feeling like the guy dropped his gun, possibly dropped a gun somewhere, and thus he was no longer a threat. But how was this other officer to know this? So was Platkin the buddy that was on the other end of the radio that was in pursuit of Cooper when he turned up on this Moravec guy? And then this Moravec guy goes, "Oh, that's the suspect. I think my partner just went to fire at him." I guess Platkin discharged his weapon twice because there was two pops, and then this Cooper guy came out of nowhere and it was put down. Showed the officer turning towards gunshots when Cooper raced past him in the opposite direction. I played the yell, "Drop the gun." While wounded on the ground, Cooper told. He didn't have a gun, the video showed. Shortly after that, we found a handgun along the road on which he had been checked. Like, so there you go. So, what a ridiculous thing is like, all right, so he's turned to fire. Other cop has taken action to fire against him. He's turned, run, dropped the weapon, and then he's run across this Moravec and indicated he's run across this Moravec guy, and he doesn't understand that this guy might not have the gun anymore. So he kind of feels like he's still a threat. States on use of records and finishes showed that Moravec had not fired his gun in any other instance. So he's not like a high trigger cop that's just looking to kill. Yeah, that's being a police officer. Yeah, so it was just nothing so egregious that someone might file a lawsuit. All right, to me that's like I would probably fall in line, and I would probably side with the cop on that one, because there was this like, did they connect this gun to him though? Surely that can't be. So could they connect this gun to Khalif? And if they can, this drop gun, then I think it's almost like the cop gets off. All right, yeah, that's what I want to know. So can they tie the drop gun to Khalif? State alleges he was unarmed, shot him in the back, paralyzing, which could be true. Like, that could actually be the truth. But the other side of the coin is like, well, he was unarmed only like 10 seconds prior. He dropped the gun. It appeared to show Cooper had a gun the morning of the night before the shooting. The attorneys did not otherwise describe the photos in the court on Monday. Were presented to a grand jury that indicted Moravec. Corman said he would have presented them if he had known they existed, so he guess he didn't get these pictures in on time. First revealed that it had new evidence in a letter sent to Clark last week, asking her to dismiss the indictment out of fairness to Moravec. Okay, because of these photos have come to light. discovered that some evidence remained with the Passaic County prosecution. The photos are on iPhones found near the crime scene. On said Monday he once initially shared the evidence for the phones. Why he hadn't looked at the phone's contents in 6 weeks since it was received, called it a resource issue. So they've had this thing here and they've just like literally not looked at it and said, oh, we just didn't get around to it. All the new evidence, Clark ordered the state to transfer all the information they have within 2 weeks. The case was investigated with the Attorney General's Public Interior, which was created in 2008. The department has come under fire. Cooper is suing Pass for $50 million. That's the police department. Right, so this scandals at this department. High number of use of force incidents and several deaths involving police. Yeah, like I'm still with. I would clear the officer in that. Charges dropped against police officers. All right, so he is now it's been dropped. All right, so they withheld evidence till it was too late, and he had prior convictions. He nearly like murdered someone. He came very close to. And then on the morning of the shooting, he had photos of himself like with a strap. All right, yeah, that's clear cut to me. Then you drop that case, and you put this fucker in jail. Paralyzed as he is, you put him in jail. All right, so like 2 example, Paul has just like squandered. It's just like these are all right. If this is a case of evil, then by the police officers and the New Jersey police departments, then 2 really terrible examples. Just 2 flat out bad examples. That was a sidetrack. Do apologize.
Today, I go online, I look at the news, and there's another mayor in New Jersey doing something similar. This one is in Toms River in southern New Jersey, which ain't far away. Remember, Israel and New Jersey are about the same size, very small pieces of real estate. Toms River Mayor Daniel Roderick has come out blasting John Bon Jovi, the 80s rock star.
All right, finally, what did John Bon Jovi do? As what I understand, like he is actually so when you want to donate to a charity or do something like out of like volunteering, you have like a few levels of like people who want to make sure that you know that they are volunteering and like very outwardly so. And it's not really about the fact that they're actually doing something out of the kindness of their heart. It's just like, well, I want to make sure I get press out of this. Whereas, as I understand, like John Bon Jovi has just literally been working at this one soup kitchen for, like, it's like a homeless soup kitchen for so many years, like just very quietly. And then, like, I guess someone stumbled over and said, hey, John Bon Jovi, hold on to what we got. We're gonna make it and we'll give it a shot. Paul's a crackhead, and that's a lot for me. We'll give it a shot.
Because he had a good enough heart to start a soup kitchen for people who are hungry.
Is this all the story you're going to give it, Paul? Like, so Paul is just outrageously disingenuous. Like, he'll leave all this information on the floor, and knowingly so. But I might let him get into it, or is he just going to like not mention anything else?
That's basically the story. Yeah, he came out and blasted John Bon Jovi for, you see, the soup kitchen.
That's basically the story. Okay, so what about the soup kitchen?
Called Soul K Kitchen, I believe, or Soul Kitchen. It's done at the public library in Toms River. You know, like over the last year, since American Musical Supply eliminated my ability to have a livelihood legally, I've had to sit at the library for months and months and months.
Oh, okay. So maybe the mayor is coming out against the fact, because no. But I have to say, like, everywhere, even in this country, libraries are seen as a refuge for homeless people to come in, get out of the elements, get online, read a book, maybe just like sit on a couch for a little while and get some rest or like take a load off. And is this mayor like annoyed that like homeless people are coming in to use the library, and then like he's annoyed at John Bon Jovi for setting up the soup kitchen, which might attract more?
And while I'm sitting in that library, I'm watching things, observing things, and filming things, and making videos. And I had done so for the previous 9 years
Why are you like? I mean, it is a public place, but let's not try film in the library there, Paul.
as well. I have a pretty good idea of what goes down at a library that attracts homeless people who need a place to come in out of the cold or what have you, meet with social services or what have you. It is, after all, a public place at the library. You know, where citizens, where human beings, real human beings, can go. But only if they're real human beings.
See, the problem with this story here, and he understands why the homeless people are coming in, but it's also, it has been documented through this janitor that he got into a conflict with. It was attracting the type of homeless people that were just basically littering and like making a mess of this car park. And it's like one lonely janitor was like, you guys make he wanted Paul to get out of the area because I guess he associated him with like just another one of these assholes who were just like living in their car and throwing shit out the window. And he told Paul to like move on. And obviously Paul is like taking that to heart, but he just said, yeah, the janitor revealed that, yeah, basically the people in the area were making his job harder.
What department? What department? If you're gonna jack me off like that, you tell me what department you're in.
Look, you guys make my job harder.
Who are you?
I work for Dakota.
What is your job?
I'm a janitor.
Daniel Roderick does not seem to think that the homeless are real human beings, though. Echoing back to America's sheriff, according to Fox News, Grady Judd, I can't help saying shady, but Grady Judd in Florida, he's saying that this is basically a quality of life issue. And he doesn't like all those homeless people coming into town. There are so many of these, I can't even go over all of them. Let me try. Here, Mayor Roderick says, quote, "We don't want to be ground zero for homelessness."
This is a weird like reveal. Like, why are you? This attempts to associate terrorist attacks with the homeless Americans. You associate your firing by AMS with 9/11. So why is that okay and this isn't? Yeah, this is emotionally manipulative rhetoric, which you apply to the story of fucking AMS. This is you, like, this is you here, Paul. It's just an inverse.
We don't want to be a dumping ground for the homeless problem in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, that seems to be like very in line with the issue that the Burnhaven Library was having. Was it attracted the kind of homeless people who just literally don't give a fuck, and they're gonna like just like hang around and dump shit all over the car park, and let's like make it a imposing area to be around. Like you don't necessarily want to be around that sort of thing. If you're discreet, if you're just a person living in your car and you're clean and you just want to be left alone, that is fair play. But if you want to be these kind of people who like set up a whole awning and they're going to get their tent out and they're going to probably get a cooler out and they're going to get the music, like they're going to get the stereo out, it's just like, no. You're taking the piss. And I'm guessing this is what he means. We don't want to be a place where it's just like, you're going to have more encampments, you're going to have disease, you're going to have violence, you're going to have like businesses saying, well, fuck it, we're out of here. Like, we can't do business around this. No one wants to come.
Unquote. So let me get this straight. Where someone like me goes is a dumping ground? It almost sounds like...
It was. Like, it literally was. It was like the guy told you. It was like, and I think you highlighted the fact that, yeah, there are some asshole people who hang out in this car park that do dump this shit and like just toss stuff out their window. And the janitor goes, well, you make it hard for me.
Mayor Roderick is saying there's real people and then there's subhumans. You know, there's real citizens, these good, fine, upstanding citizens.
No. And this is like something Paul knows very well, is that he understands the concept that there are levels to these things. There are certain distinctions between a very chronically homeless person who might be all sorts of substance issues, mental illness, who will just kind of use whatever their area that they're in to just like dump shit take a shit, take a piss, throw a needle around. If they have anything they want to get rid of, they will treat it like a complete, because they don't really have any respect. It's just, I am in such a bad state of way that I really don't care that I'm littering. I don't care that I might be like dropping this needle for anyone to walk on. That sort of premise. And then there are like a little bit more put together people where, they are kind of respectful, but maybe they take up too much space. They've got the tent out, they've got the awning thing going. It's like a home away from home. And then you got Paul, where I would, or a ice boot, where they're just like in their cars. They're kind of like, they're policing the other homeless people. Usually, like they're always like making comments, offhand comments about how they're the more reputable homeless people than this bum over here who's just like literally dropping trowel and doing a diarrhea dump in the bushes. So yeah, there are levels to these things, Paul, and you well know this, because there's a certain level of homeless person Paul doesn't want to be around actively. That's why he hangs around fucking Burnsville. It's just like a kind of like a limbo area. Like if he was up by Minneapolis proper, like Hennepin and Ramsey, that is an area that's going to have a lot of really rough going homeless people.
In New Jersey with homes and cars. And then there's these Jews, I mean these Armenians, I mean these blacks, I mean these homeless people who are subhuman. And in fact, in another one here, he calls us, including me.
Is it okay to say that some of these homeless people actually do act like fucking subhumans? Is that all right? Like, I feel like they have lost their own humanity. They have gone down paths of like just complete, heathenism and like debauchery, and just like their pleasure comes at everyone's cost. And they live this life and they don't give a fuck what you think. Like nothing can convince them that like they're in the wrong. And to my feeling is like you've removed yourself from polite society, and I don't give a fuck about you. I might actually like shove you out my way if you're in my way.
If that isn't reminiscent of the vocabulary of Jim Crow, what is? How do you think black people felt when whites say these people?
You don't give a fuck about black people. Shut your fucking mouth, dude. Like you really don't. You do not care. How many like awkwardly weird interactions have you had with various Somalis in this area? He had one guy, like he had one Somali like rando guy. I don't know if he was a first generation immigrant or an actual full on immigrant, but it was just like looking through cars, and Paul was terrified, absolutely terrified of this guy.
People ain't allowed in our restaurant or in our bathroom. According to Mayor Roderick, quote, we wound up with dozens and dozens of people being dropped off downtown every single day at the library, no less, where a mom should feel comfortable walking into the library with her daughter and get a book.
I'm sorry, I'm deferring to the mum every single time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Sounds like a quality of life issue, isn't it? You should consult with a Grady Judd, sheriff down there in Florida. It's a quality of life issue. You can't have good, fine, upstanding, housed people be inconvenienced by the horrific third world suffering and death of other people because of the neglect of people like Mayor Roderick and Sheriff Judd, can you? That might inconvenience one of these people.
It's literally not a homeless shelter, Paul. It's a library. It's a thing where a library has become synonymous with, hey, I can sit down in here, I can get a cup of coffee, I can chill out, I can like stay in this area until they close effectively. I would think Paul does most of the time he was there. But it's not in any way like a designated homeless person area. Like that was never the intention. It's just how it's like come to be over years. Now, I'm not saying this mayor is correct in what he's doing or how he's attacking John Bon Jovi for like literally wanting to have an outreach program. But there are two sides. Like you can see it from both angles, and whether or not there's like a middle ground they can meet at, hopefully.
That they should be made aware of the human suffering that is in their world, such that that little girl, instead of getting some stupid book full of propaganda, might see the real world and might grow up to do something about it instead of doing exactly what her parents do, which is nothing. Quote, you shouldn't have to walk through gangs of 24 intoxicated or mentally ill homeless individuals. And that's the real issue here.
Paul, what are we talking about here? You have gone off so many times about the fact that there are different levels of like homeless, mentally ill stalkers that are also homeless. You have been afraid for your life, Paul, many, many times in these car parks about these people who are also homeless. So there is a clear distinction.
Now I'm intoxicated. The guy who has fought against drug abuse his entire life, who got fired in part because I raised the problem of drug abuse in our workplace, and this New Jersey company, American Musical Supply, wanted to just lift up the rug and shove all that dirt under there and glue the rug down so that nobody thought about it or talked about it, like the U.S. Surgeon General's office tells employers to do. They didn't want to do that. It was the homeless guy who was doing that. But this guy just basically implied that I must be intoxicated. Really. I've never used drugs in my life. I haven't had alcohol other than that one wedding where I had maybe one beer 20 years ago when I made the wedding video.
I want to see what this guy actually said, because it's probably a thing where he's made the distinctions. Like, I feel really bad for the people who are actually here for the right reasons, but also it's attracted a lot of bad elements that I just can't abide with. So, New Jersey mayor. Because if you're positioning it like Paul is, it on the face of it, it sounds heartless as hell. And if there's no nuance, then yeah, of course, this mayor is an arsehole. But what is he actually saying? And is he necessarily like attacking John Bon Jovi directly, or is he saying, look, we need to do this better and maybe consult with me first, and we'll set something up that can be properly vetted, and maybe like you've got a security element, maybe a police detail with it. All right, so this is what his problem is, essentially, is you are attracting much more homeless people to come into the area that wouldn't necessarily be in the area. So unhoused individuals across New Jersey and even neighboring states to congregate around this eatery. So this is not good. This is not good. I don't feel like this is a thing that... I don't feel like the mayor is wrong in this. If it's just attracting like opportunists, is this to say there's no other great soup kitchen eatery thing around their areas? Like, why are they coming here? Is it the food is like a step above? I want to think. If they're going to turn this into a homeless shelter, hell, cut everybody a check and give them a Barnes & Noble gift card. I definitely want it gone, the mayor continued. We certainly don't think this library is a good that the library is a good place. The issue was never Bon Jovi, okay. It was the Ocean County Board of Commissioners who engaged with these non-profits. The mayor also called the pop-up a real safety concern. Ocean County Commissioner Robert Rossi pushed back against the mayor's claim that any alarming incidents have occurred because of... Here's the mayor's claims that alarming incidents have occurred because of the JBJ Soul Kitchen. He says he's saying that incidents have increased. Rossi question. We have data that they have not increased. It is not a soup kitchen. It is a pay-it-forward style restaurant. Yeah, like this sounds like, again, you can see it from two sides. Like, one side of it is the mayor doesn't want this influx because, it's going to attract people that aren't homeless in the area. Like, they're just literally coming here. They're going out of their way to come here. And the other side is like, yeah, no, this is actually a good thing. It's like a genuinely force of good. Like, this is the kind of thing I think Paul looks at as like something he would do one day eventually to help the homeless. This is the kind of thing, like, I want to say Paul should actually get involved with. So if there is like a soup kitchen nearby, he needs to be there every night. So I'm not working, I'm not doing much with my life, but hey, at the very least, I want to go volunteer some of my time to the people I'm so passionate about and also get a feed myself. Doesn't that make sense? Like, it shouldn't every night of his life be dedicated to going out to a soup kitchen and helping? So look, I don't like the fact that I'm homeless and it's rough. At the very least, he can volunteer. He's not being paid for it, but he can volunteer his time. He doesn't need to have a home or address. It doesn't mean anything. He can just volunteer his time. Do you think Paul has done any of this shit? Ever? I wonder. So yeah, look, I can see the mayor's opinion. It's not a popular opinion because he's looking out for the interests of the people in his community, the tax-paying community. But also, it's a hard thing to like really try to attack this. I think they need to come together and like there's a better way we can do a pop-up kitchen that is like within an area that's like neutral. It'll be neutral for everyone. The homeless can come in, maybe even the shady elements can come in and get what they need out of this without like, turning it into a complete shit show. And it's just, yeah, it's an unpopular sentiment, but I understand it.
Mentally ill. Really? Are we all mentally ill? No, it's nothing to do with living a life of being treated like this.
So why are you being so disingenuous? It's like, it's not even what he is saying. He's saying there's elements of that are represented in these, like, when they conjugate around these areas, there's going to be an element of it. And if it's being multiplied by a factor of 10 or like 20, because this thing is attracting people from all over, it's going to get out of hand. It's going to get like too much. And the goodwill of the John Bon Jovi soup kitchen goes away. People want it out.
24 hours a day, day after day after day after week after month after year after decade. It's not a response to that. They're just all mentally ill. And
All right,
Mayor Roderick
whatever.
would certainly know, wouldn't he? After all, he's a school teacher. Like our governor in Minnesota, who's done so much to help. Tim Walz, former school teacher. Of course, the problem is, Mayor Roderick is on administrative leave. And he has been since February. From what I can tell, I don't see where that's changed. The last update I could find was in, I believe, late March, which was a few weeks ago. He was on administrative leave because there were so many complaints from students that he was conducting city business in class instead of doing his job. You know, like the homeless person did his job and was documented as, if not the best employee in my workplace, one of the very best.
Wait. He's a mayor and then he teaches? Like, is that the day job? And then he's like the mayor? What is going on here? I feel like you should dedicate your time to one thing and one thing only, and it's probably being the mayor.
Likewise, another message here, another online news report refers to Mayor Roderick as being, quote, in hiding and failing to show up at City Hall to even do that job. Where the homeless guy had perfect attendance, except for when my car died and I couldn't get to work, which happened on a few occasions, and the one time...
A few occasions? Well, do you not have why didn't you have a backup plan? Call an Uber, call a taxi.
Sunday morning, and I thought it was Monday, and I started work 4 hours later on Monday. I just didn't know what day it was.
Yeah, like he did this. Like he forgot what the hell day it was. So Mr. Perfect Attendance.
I was getting ready to go to work at my normal time on Monday, but it wasn't Monday. And once I figured it out, I was like, oh crap, and I ran down to work. So I was maybe an hour late.
Oof.
7 years. But this guy, he has the ability to determine who is a real human being and who is a subhuman. Gangs of intoxicated, mentally ill people. He's able to make that judgment. He's on administrative leave for a valid reason, not like with me where they never even told me what the reason was, because you can't come out and tell somebody, well, we just don't like homeless people. So they don't say anything at all. They just put me on administrative.
What is he on leave for? I feel like I don't know. It's just a mystery. All right, so this is why he was suspended. What was he suspended for? Oh, okay. Yes. What a fucking dumb reason. He really should, like, maybe step down completely from his role, but he's tenured. But yeah, I think Paul said it before. I've just breezed past it. It was basically he was conducting mayoral and possibly like other duties within the class. So the students are like, this guy's on his phone again. I mean, you know, he is conflicted here. This is not great. He really should step away from the position permanently. But maybe the mayoral run might end, so he wants the tenured position. But man, oh man, I mean, this is like, really? Isn't that wild? It's like now the students are like, this guy is not paying attention in class. He's not dedicating his time to us, which is usually like, no, it's usually the children that aren't paying attention. That's a whatever for me. That I don't really care about that. That's how it is a real, like, it's a bit of a stretch. Oh no, he sent emails using his school email account. Oh no.
Administratively without any reason, and then fire me without any reason. But in his case, there's this huge set of charges.
They're so flimsy. It's like it is a whatever. Community is contradicting the Berlin said Roderick did not prepare his lesson, so he's not doing lesson plans. It's just like whatever.
But when this guy comes out and condemns John Bon Jovi's soup kitchen for helping people, the news, including Fox News, picks up that story and doesn't bother to tell you that about Mayor Roderick, do they? They don't bother to tell you that the guy doesn't have a job because he's on administrative leave under due process for a legitimate complaint against him. Unlike me, where there was no legitimacy whatsoever.
Imagine you were charged with this, Paul. Like you had another job outside of AMS, and then you took a handful of phone calls, sent a few emails on behalf of the other job you're doing, and then AMS find this out and fire you. Would you stand still? Would you be like, no, that's justified. I'm happy to leave. I was caught. You would fucking flip your top, moron.
Talk about that. More quotes from Mayor Roderick. Quote, and what do you do with them? Those people. When you can't keep them. Really? You can't keep them? Why can't you keep them, Mayor Roderick?
Why aren't you addressing the fact that you're not actually giving the full story. I had to read the full story, and it's like he has issues with the fact that they're coming in droves. They're being bussed in. They're like across state lines. It's like it's not in keeping with like the normal homeless number they would have. So it's ballooned. And he's like, yeah, this isn't great. We need to do it differently.
Is there no love in your heart? Oh no, it's something about them. I'm sorry.
No. You're not gonna like get us on that one, Paul. Not gonna work.
It's not you. My bad. And what do you do with them when you can't keep them? It's a real problem. It's a mental health problem, and it's a substance abuse problem. Unquote. No, it's nothing to do with a legal problem, employment at will. It's nothing to do with the American government at all levels propagating hatred and discrimination and persecution against homeless people for decades. And it has nothing whatsoever to do with politicians who themselves are under investigation for really shady activities, exploiting the existence of homeless people by conjuring them up and putting them in the news to make you look like you're some kind of a tough-talking leader who's taking care of business. In other words, exploiting homeless people to deflect attention away from what you did wrong. It's nothing to do with that, is it, Mayor Roger?
Yeah, I'm looking at what he did wrong, and it's just like fucking nothing. It's like just the stupidest reason. But I guess the students got irate about it, and then maybe the parents of the families were like, well, look, the structure is not great. He's not putting in like teaching routines here. There's no structure to the classes, and my child is suffering because of it. But it's not a scandal. If this is a scandal, like, then whatever.
Drake. Quote, however, busing dozens of people from all over the state of New Jersey, all over the county of Ocean, ellipses. I've had people come in from as far as North Carolina and Philadelphia that wind up in-house.
North fucking Carolina. What the goddamn hell? Like, I am on this mayor's side. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is untenable. Like, you can't have, like, a massive influx of people from, like, all across America just come in for this one dumb fucking soup kitchen.
Housing that I then have to provide, hotels and such. So they're being bussed here, dumped here, unquote. Once again, people like me, when I enter a certain place, I'm dumped there. But when a real person, a citizen...
No, again, you are intentionally misrepresenting the story. It's like, there is a genuinely homeless population within the town, the district, or the town borders that they're well aware of, and they're like I want to feel like they're gonna try to do what they can for them, because they should be set up to provide services. They should be able to provide shelters within the confines of how many are homeless. So we have 150 beds in the district, and there's roughly, we could say, between any time, there's like 100 to maybe 125 homeless people on any night in my town. Now he has this problem. He's faced down with this problem is because this soup kitchen is opened, and non-profits are basically bussing people into my town, dropping them off, not dumping them off. They're just dropping them off, and like, who the hell knows where they're coming from? Like, it's just like these people cross the border, and all of a sudden they're in your town. Like, you're just like a sleepy town in the middle of nowhere, middle America, nowhere. And all of a sudden you have like got 70 Haitians on your door. It's like, what the fuck happened here? Like, where did you guys come from? And like, are we even set up to like handle this? Big problem in the UK too, like massive problem in the UK. Just like these little sleepy British towns are just like, all right, we've got 155 Syrian refugees in this like air hangar, and the town has like 70 people, usually older people, and they're just like roaming gangs of these Syrians just walking around. Hey, how you going? And it's the same thing. It's like this mayor has got this problem of like, there's so many people now. What can I do? What do I do? We weren't set up for this. This is creating problems. It's not that I don't have any love in my heart for these people. It's like, we're in over our head now. We don't know what to do. That's the fundamental problem, Paul. And you're just like, you are like skipping this.
Someone with a house and a car, when they walk into the exact same place, maybe not even as clean, maybe even smelling worse than I do, and maybe intoxicated, since all the film I've gathered over these years have shown countless housed people buying, selling, and using drugs all around me, including at the library. But no.
I mean, you want to claim that. You don't know that for sure, but you've definitely made mention of many, many interactions with homeless people that you do not want to be interacting with. Because it comes as a shock to him sometimes, I think, because he thinks he's isolated from a lot of the bad elements, because he always talks about the inner city gang thugs that come down south of where they usually are, down by Paul, and he gets all sorts of flighty about it.
No homeless people. Yes, there are homeless people using drugs and intoxicated, absolutely.
Which you have documented and which you don't like. So can you see the mayor's perspective? Can you? Because you definitely share the same sentiment.
A minority of homeless people, they can't afford it, Mayor Roderick. They're homeless. They have no money. House people have a lot of money. They're the ones keeping the cartels
So he is very like he's gonna take kid gloves to them.
the multi-billion-dollar cartels in business. Not homeless people. Mental illness? Have you looked at any statistics for the mental health of Americans in general? This is one of the most unhappy countries in the world, even though it's the most prosperous. I was living a life where I was so happy and joyful. When I would rent a hotel, I was singing and dancing in the hotel. I'm out telling jokes to everybody, making people smile, making people laugh, and I'm homeless. And I'm doing
Strumming the old guitar, probably keeping everyone awake.
it without any drugs, any alcohol to ease the pain. But all these house people are out there consuming all kinds of drugs. The pharmaceutical industry is just handing out drugs to children left and right.
I would like to see a surly Paul, just like he's just cracked a bottle of wild turkey and just getting real surly. Because you think this is bad. What about him on the hooch? Would he be? No, he doesn't have it in him to be a happy drunk. He'd be a real surly, angry drunk.
Here, let's get you on Oxy. Let's get you on Ritalin. It'll be a good start for you when you finally get to meth. Cocaine. Weed. Heroin. Those are house people who are keeping these multi-billion-dollar cartels and multi-billion-dollar pharmacy in business. Mayor Roderick. It is not homeless people like me who has not had a dollar of my own in the last 5 months, except for a $120 guitar that I sold that I paid $300 for a couple weeks ago to pay that storage bill one last time. And almost all
Is this? Have you paid it forward from April to May, or are we talking from March to April? Did you say a couple weeks ago? I think you might have said that. Hang on.
went to storage that I paid $300 for a couple weeks ago to pay that storage bill one last time.
All right, so one last time, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm saying he covered March till April, and now it's either come due or it's about to come due, and it's the end. So take that one to the bank.
And almost all of it went to storage. I have absolutely had it with these people using homeless people, using our suffering, exploiting that to deflect attention away from the crimes that they're committing. Their negligence, their incompetence, and their corruption.
Yeah, those like it's so salacious, Paul. I can't believe it. He sent 11 emails using his Middletown email address during his teaching time in January and February of 2024, and had 7 calls on the school phone between January and April. I mean, get the fuck out of here. If this is salacious, if he needs to like go to Nuremberg for this, then like whatever. Unbelievable. That's stupid.
Mayor Roderick, you have about 1 week before I go out into the wilderness and die. I challenge you right now to a public debate. I will find somebody in Minnesota who will get me out.
Debate me, fucker. I've been asking that for a while. I've live streamed with Paul any day of the week.
A conference call. You debate me in public in front of the people who put you in office and gave you a salary. And you explain what you...
The idea is not really about the mayor. It's essentially, I think it's another Paul ploy, because he's so frustrated with the idea that Care 11, that one news network in town, just doesn't care. Like, he's reached out to them. He's like, I probably pushed a whole bunch of stuff towards them, say, come interview me, come like sit down with me, have a one-on-one 60-minute style interview with me, blow me up, make me a like the face of homelessness in America. And it's like they have had no interest. That's why he always does the off camera and not on their camera. It's going to be on my camera. And now I feel like it's another ploy. He wants like CNN or CBS or one of these big channels to come down. It's a sit-down interview with Mayor Roderick and the American Homeless Holocaust. Only on CNN. This is CNN.
You said here, and let me comment on that. Do you dare do that? Do you dare stand in front of your constituents and debate a subhuman homeless person?
I feel like, what is the juiciest story with get Bon... I was going to say Bon Scott. John Bon Jovi to come in and do a sit-down interview with this Mayor Roderick. Or what's juicier, that or a sit-down interview with random schizo in Minnesota?
It's not even worth asking, is it? Because you're a coward.
Nah.
You're exploiting the suffering of other people to deflect attention away from your own negligence. And it's because people like you do that people who have simple minds, like the people who run American Musical Supply in New Jersey.
I wonder if he's tweeted this at him. I should try. I'm going to look at that. What is his dumb Twitter handle? Legally killed. There he is, sleeping in his bed. No. Well, what are you doing? Get on that, Paul. That's a faux pas. Why are you just putting it out on YouTube? You need to like tweet him directly.
are propagandized and brainwashed into believing that homeless people are subhuman such that they do to me what they did to me when I was their best employee with the best attendance record.
Oh yeah, it's about New Jersey headquarters having like so it's a culture of this. It's like it's ingrained in the people of New Jersey. I forgot where we were going with that. I mean, you had smell complaints. You fell asleep at your desk, which is an instant write up for me, so they didn't catch you. And yeah, you would sit around, laze around, like he would often, roast the HR lady for doing this, but he also admitted that, yeah, I watch these YouTube videos when it's kind of like boring, like when there's no calls coming in, I'll just load up YouTube and, watch some sort of like WW2 documentary for the 16,000th time. All right, wrap it up.
Mayor here in Patterson who wants to declare a place 16 miles away from American Musical Supply as the capital of one of the worst terrorist organizations.
So 16 miles, it's pretty close, but it's not there. So it's a town over, I want to say. But Paul's like, well, it's close enough, reasonably.
In the world. It's people like you who cause the problems in this world, not the people like us. You're disgusting. You will never debate me because you will lose. You will lose to a homeless man. You will lose to a subhuman. And you know it. And if you think otherwise, you got about 1 week to set it up.
All right, he's not really doing much to do this, so we need to put the feelers out there. I need Paul on the hotspot. I need him like. I feel like he'll back out. He's like, actually, this is coming to pass. We're gonna set this up, and this mayor's pretty feisty, so watch out, Paul.
I will debate you anywhere.
He's in this car. He's a lion, but I feel like he's a lamb outside of it. Though he did get in the face of that one guy at Eden Prairie, but he was like very irrational. Like he was like walking around talking about Dharma using that boy as a sex toy, like a sex zombie, and it was like, you are so out of line right now.
John Bon Jovi, I got fired from working from an online music store, or a place that calls itself a music store. American.
You should have hold on to what you got, Paul. Don't get fired for sending lewds.
Musical Supply. They don't really care about music or musicians. They fired their best musician, the one with the most history, the most breadth and depth in the music industry. One of their oldest employees, commended every which way to Sunday.
You could say, guys, Paul went down in the blaze of glory.
Every way, co-workers, customers, performance reviews. A job I absolutely loved in a field that I've adored since I was a child. My first memory of music, 3 years old at Cedar Point Amusement Park, hearing the Beatles, something playing on the speakers up there. Touched my heart back then. You, John Bon Jovi. When I hear your music, it takes me back to the happiest time of my life when I was in high school. What a great time it was. Thank you for what you are doing. Thank you for setting a good example.
I never drew first, but I drew first blood.
If more people like you would do that, this could turn around. But more people won't do that. All they do is hurt and kill and try to destroy things like what you're doing. The placard that you have set up there in the library says, everyone welcome. All are welcome. That's your heart saying that. Mayor Roderick's heart doesn't say that.
Really,
the library says, everyone welcome.
That looks like a good spread. That's a reasonably good spread. I want to say like a lot of these shelters don't do it like that.
That's your heart saying that. Mayor Roderick's heart doesn't say that. It says only some of you are welcome. Only the people that I deem as real human beings are welcome. But these subhumans are not welcome. That's what America's sheriff, according to Fox.
I mean, and there's even an opportunity that like this would really boil Paul's piss, is like there's actually maybe housed people taking advantage of this, is like literally coming in saying like this, I can pay at a restaurant or I can go to the shops and make this for about, I don't know, $15 to $20 maybe, or I can go to John Bon Jovi's soup kitchen and like maybe get this for free, or I get it for $1. Yeah, there could be that. It's a cynical world out there.
Fox News, Greedy Judd would say, some people are allowed to be here, but not others. We're going to arrest you for existing. Even though it's all these house people who are doing all the drugs and the alcohol, and they're the ones who are going to the doctors for mental illness and mental health issues all the time.
Yeah, but the problem with the housed people is they go back to their houses, generally.
Dr. Phil is not on television to help homeless people.
So you have such a disdain for housed people now, Paul. Is this the idea is now, like, the anger and hatred has built to such a level that you can't actually be housed anymore yourself? It just wouldn't sit right with you. This is your lifestyle. This is your life path now. and everything else. Well, if you were like to be set up tomorrow in a very lush apartment with all the sound system, like high quality studio that you like, got the green screen, got the puppets ready, it wouldn't sit well with you because you're a man of principle, Paul. You're a man of goddamn principle, right? So you would not accept it because there is just like, it would be a hole in your heart. It would like eat you up from the inside out that actually I can't be just one of these like housed people. They disgust me.
He's on there to talk to housed people. Real people, according to Mayor Roderick. John Bon Jovi, thank you for what you've done. You are a musician. You have the heart of a musician, like I did, when American Musical Supply, who calls itself a music store, obliterated my existence and my family line, all because of hatred. Hatred of people just because they don't have a home and a family. Anything I can do to help you, Mr. Bon Jovi? You've got 1 week before I go into the wilderness.
All right, John Bon. What the name of the band was Bon Jovi, right? I keep on saying it's like the band was actually called John Bon Jovi, but no, it was Bon Jovi. I mean, it's had a linguistic appeal to it. Like it just feels like it comes off the tip of your tongue nicely, but it is that guy's name. Like the band was him, I guess. But I guess that John Bon Jovi doesn't sit as well because I keep calling him Bon Scott Jovi.
Just to die. Anything I can do to help you, call upon me. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so this is just like some weird ploy for him to possibly amplify his story and get a little bit of press out of it. So it doesn't come from like a place that he actually cares from, because he's been trying these things for a while. He just wants to get people, he wants to get press, he wants to build the YouTube channel up to such a point that people will notice it. And there is like a very distinct possibility he bought bots for this channel. Because, yeah, it was just like one day he went from 1.1k and the next day he was like 3.3, and it was like, how did this happen? I couldn't find any indication that someone had covered him with a lot of like influence, like in the the Turkey Tom sphere or the whoever the hell is out there, fucking Keemstar. No one had covered him, so it was like a mystery. Why did this happen overnight, and how did it happen? And it's either someone bought it for him, which I think can be done, or he bought it for his channel himself. So it's just bots in Bangladesh that all subscribed, no interaction, and the view count sort of like, sometimes it goes a little up, sometimes it goes a little down, but on average it's flat. So it's like, what the hell happened here? Did you like hock 3 guitars to pay for something like this? Oh, whoa. Huh? What was that stupid acapella? He does video game stuff pretty well. Smooth McGroove, I want to say. Wait. Why didn't you kick it in, Paul? Like, really? That was it? Alright, guys. Lengthy video. I'm going to cut it down to size, but I just needed to read through all he was citing different little cases in New Jersey within this like town that I guess is next to where the New Jersey headquarters of AMS is. But he was only giving like surface level details, and then you like literally read into these stories, which is very much tied into BLM. Both of them were like very BLM infused, to which he has no love for BLM. So I don't know why. Well, I know why, but anyway, they were like stories that he tried to cite the stories as legitimate, like evil doings of these cops, and it was like you actually scratch the surface and you look a little deeper, and of course, like it was not the case on both cases. All right, guys, real slog with this one, and it was only a small video, but I will cut it down. Till next time.